Welcome back to the Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. And we're going to go straight to my good friend, Charles Alvarez. He's with Cornerstone Business Academy, and he does great work. He's been a consultant and coach to the Price of Business Media, and just has done great work, transformative work for us. And whatever he touches seems to turn into gold. He's got the Midas touch. Charles, glad to have you on the program, as always.
Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for the introduction.
Tell us about Cornerstone Business Academy.
Well, at Cornerstone, what we do is we work with privately held businesses, mostly in the oil and gas space and in the technology space, who are having a tough time reaching that next level of success. And our clients typically add somewhere to the tune of $3 to $6 million in sales in 21 months or less without having to add a single employee to their staff.
Wow, that's amazing. And it's all about replacing slow, sloppy, labor-intensive ways with systems. Isn't that correct? Is that kind of...
That's one way. The other way we do it is we use the 80-20 rule to death. Because if you think about it, if you're doing, say, $10 million in sales, that's typically, depending on what industry it is, let's say that you have 1,000 customers. The 80-20 rule says that 80% of your revenue, or $8 million, should be in about 200 customers. And most companies are staffing up not to service their best customers. They tend to staff up to service their worst customers. Not necessarily, that's a bad word for it, because I mean, a customer is, I think
the least profitable customer.
Least profitable customer typically are the ones that get more service from the business when it should be the other way around.
Right, and the reason why is they're desperately trying to hold on to those that 80%.
Yeah, I would say that the biggest thing that gets in front of businesses from growing is just fear. It's like, well, gosh, if I let go of these, what happens? Well, what I find is that typically with that 20%. Those are customers or clients, depending on what industry you are, that are very happy with what you're doing for them. I mean, they probably have a 90 to 95%, customer not only satisfaction rate, but excited rate. They're actually like doing business with you. And the issue is that they never take the time to ask them, hey, who do you know who also might benefit from our business, and really talk to those clients about really servicing them on a broader scale. That only includes adding additional services to them, but also asking them for referrals, because people who are good at business like helping other people that are good at business.
Now, you currently have an interesting case study you wanted to mention. I'm all over it.
Yeah, we work with a lot of oil and gas companies here in Houston. It's just part of one of the things that comes with a consultant here in Houston. You got to know a thing or two about energy companies. And what they're really struggling with are three major things. The first thing, of course, they're struggling with is government agencies. There's just a huge amount of pressure on them to get permits, to comply with EPA laws. So there's a lot of government regulations they're having to deal with. The second biggest issue is, and I don't really call this the top three, I call this 1A, 1B, and 1C. The second is there's really a lack of available technical talent out there in the field. People are having a really, really hard time finding employees. And the third issue is that they're having a hard time streamlining their processes or their operations. Like, for example, logistics. We would think that logistics would be an important thing, to make sure you get the right, drilling schedule, to get the right drilling contractors, make sure that everybody's set to go for that well. But in most oil and gas companies, that really becomes an afterthought, because they're really interested and really good at finding and exploring and producing oil and gas, and all those things kind of find by the wayside. So one of the things that we're really talking to our oil and gas clients about and actually implementing is ways to streamline that or to outsource it, because there are several firms here in Houston that are really, really good at providing some of those ancillary, which includes logistics services to the oil and gas field.
Okay. Is it really important for something as esoteric as oil and gas to use a web company that works really heavily in that area?
I would say that they need to have whoever it is that they're working, whether it's a consultant that's an IT consultant or a business consultant, having that expertise in that area, I think, to me, is crucial. You don't want to go with somebody that doesn't understand what a BTU is, that doesn't understand what the fractionation process looks like. Now, they don't have to have a deep, intimate knowledge of it, but I think to have an idea of what the challenges are that are facing that industry and be able to speak the lingo where you don't have to give them a Energy 101 lesson, I think is important, because otherwise you're going to have to be training your consultant or your service provider on your business, and they may not be able to articulate your message or to articulate your business in a way that really ends up adding either sales or profitability to your business.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so what are they doing when they work with you? What's their objective? And something, this is kind of off of your normal beaten path, or at least in our past experience. So talk a little bit about, how they see your talents working with those objectives?
Well, for the first 6 years when I came out of college, I worked for a company called Anderson Consulting, which is now Accenture. And for the first 6 years, we did nothing but implement business process optimization for small companies like Shell, Exxon, Torch Energy, Dynegy, those type of companies. And the biggest issue that I see that energy companies or oil and gas companies have these days is not so much sales. I mean, the oil and gas business is going and blowing at $9,500 oil. The biggest issue is that they're not able to process as much business they like because there's not enough people out there and their operations are not streamlined enough to where they can get more stuff done with less people. So what we're really focusing on more than anything is to implement operational efficiencies to take their net profit rates from 9 to 15% to somewhere to the tune of 25 to 31% by using operational efficiencies.
Okay, very good. And how do we get more information about what you do?
A great way, there's actually two sources you can go, but I want to just give our listeners just one easy one to go to. We actually created a website specifically designed to cater to the needs and concerns of the oil and gas business. So you can go to oilandgasstrategy.com. Oilandgasstrategy.com. That's it? That's it.
Charles Alvarez, make sure you check that out. And when we come back tomorrow, we are, of course, going to have much more for you. I do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usatoreview.com, and you've been listening to The Price of Business.